right, welcome to the Krueg Show, everybody. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio. After Giants baseball, man, another rough night for the Giants. And to add injury to insult, Carlos Rodon kicked a bat in the dugout. It hit Thairo Estrada. I mean, God.
Then Estrada gets plunked in the elbow the next when he goes up to bat.
You can't make this stuff up. I just tweeted that one out. I'm like, 2022 Giants in a nutshell. Danny, is there a reason you're dressed like
Foot Locker employee
Kenny Mauer or something? Yeah, exactly. Do you have wait, hold on a second, Dan. I'm looking actually for this and a 13.5. I saw the 13, but I need a 13.5, and I have kind of a wider foot. This is just a little snug. This is the 13. I normally wear a 13, but I think I might need a 13.5.
Let me check the back room.
Yeah, can you check to see the back room? Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Let me watch your ears. Here, warning. I got a fox whistle. Warning. Okay, I'm going to check the back room and hold on. Just watch your ears, okay, everybody?
Oh, man.
Wait a minute. Gabe, you're gone! You're gone!
You're running, Cap?
I'm running. I just ran you, Cap. You're gone.
Well,
1, 2, 3. Gone!
The Giants did have a 2-run home run from Wilmer Flores. They did get a double from Brandon Belt, so 2 of their 7 hits were extra base hits. They had Rodon on the mound against Gilbert. Rodon went 6. He gave up 5 earned runs. He walked 2. He struck out 10. Will it be his final start in a Giants uniform? We don't know. Marte came on in an inning and a third, gave up a couple runs. Garcia finally got a couple outs. God, my goodness, Garcia's struggling. And what can you say? Diamondbacks jump on the board first. Alcantara with the home run to left with McCarthy aboard in the second. Made it 2-0. Giants tied it up, though, with the Flores 2-run shot to left with Gonzalez aboard in the third. So you had a 2-2 ball game for a half inning, and then Walker hit a 3-run shot to make it 5-2, and that was bottom 3, and Arizona just didn't look back. Belt had the RBI double to center to score Thairo in the 6th to make it 5-3, but then Peralta tacked on with a triple to right to score Carson Kelly in the 8th, and then Marte, who's a tremendous young player, he doubled in Peralta to make it 7-3. And there you go. The Diamondbacks continue to own the Giants. 5-3, they lead the season series. The Giants took the season series last year in a dominant fashion, but this year it has been Diamondbacks. They're younger, they're more athletic, they look deeper, they look better.
You got some music in the background there going.
There we go. We can talk about all the different angles on this thing, but Arizona just looks better than the Giants. Give me your guys' thoughts on this one. He started Slater in center field, he let him off. Flores, Ruff, Mercedes, Estrada, Belt, VR, Joey Bart, and Luis Gonzalez. Those were your starters today. Gonzalez did have 2 more hits. His average is up to 293.
I don't know why they bat him 2 for 4. Why not bat him in first?
I don't know. That is kind of a weird thing. They've been burying Gonzalez in the lineup, despite the fact he's been their best hitter.
He looks like the best hitter. He's got speed. I don't know. It's weird, but I think watching the Diamondbacks broadcast down here, they are really fired up. They've won 5 of 6, 4 out of 5 out of the break, and I'm listening to the players get interviewed. They're aggressive. They're talking about Josh Rojas stealing 2 bases in the first inning, and he's they want to be aggressive. They got speed. They're fired up. They really have it out for the Giants because being embarrassed last year by them 17-2, and they feel like they're a better team, and they're playing like it, and they're playing with a lot of emotion and spunk, and you look at the Giants, they're completely dead. And somebody said, I think it was Frisco Willie, I got to find his comment about firing Gabe. He's not to fire him. We got so many comments coming in, but the point of firing Gabe is what his point was, you're dealing with crap or whatever his comment was. I can't remember. Don't fire Gabe. It's not his fault. The problem is the team looks like they've given up. And,
right.
And
they're in a free fall. I mean,
right.
They and here's the thing, they're now under 500. They won 107 games last year. They're under 500 for the first time this year because they got off to that great start in April. I think it was 14-7 out of the gate. But the Giants are 11-22 since their high water mark where they were 10 games over 500 on June the 18th. It seems to kind of almost coincide with Kapler's "I'm not going out for the anthem until the world changes" after his reaction to the Uvalde tragedy. And I don't know if he lost the group there with the political messaging or what his deal with that. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe these things have nothing to do with each other. But it's almost right to the day where he, started his anthem protest that the Giants have fallen into this hole. What do you guys think? Is it cause and effect? I mean, I don't know.
Who really knows? I mean, you don't know what a clubhouse is like. When you take a stand like that, and you don't know if you have all 26 guys back. Like when Steve Kerr does it, he's got the whole team and the organization behind him. When you got guys in baseball, guys different parts of the country, some from conservative backgrounds, some different. You just don't do something that might upset a portion of your team, because if you lose 3 or 4 guys in the locker room, let's say they're just 3 or 4 and they start talking and it's like, oh man, this guy's what is he doing? Why is he doing the anthem? And maybe they lose respect. I don't know what happens, but it could be that
is it that
guys,
or is it the pitching? I mean, since the All-Star break, the Giants,
the
Giants have allowed. Giants since the break have given up 39 runs.
And it's not the starting. It's
28 of those runs are coming with 2 outs. They gave up 5 runs tonight with 2 outs in the inning. So they did get LaStella back. He was reinstated from the COVID-19 list. He had been out since July the 8th.
That'll fix everything.
Yeah.
And
Bart left sick tonight, I hear, right? And somebody said, Romo said, did I sneak Bart a complete?
Yeah. The series concludes tomorrow afternoon. Logan Webb against Zach Gallen. Gallen's 5-2. Webb's been terrific this year, 9-3 with a 2.77. All right, let's get into the chat. The Steve Roach, $2. The numbers don't lie. No need to distract Team Cap. We got a couple of chats in here. Dustin the Gale, $4.99. Halfway through this game, I started rooting against the Giants because if they lose enough, hopefully big changes come. Let's go full rebuild. You know what, Dustin the Gale, I've been there before, in that mode where you're like, what do I root for here? I'm actually want to root for regime change. So I'm rooting for my team to lose. MF donates $4.99. I'm surprised he has anything left after last night. He said, I called out Mark Willard and Marty Lurie for being optimistic about the Giants on Twitter. Willard replied, we're all going to die one day. Oh man, I love it. I love it.
On a bright side, I did bet 2 bets tonight. The Giants and Diamondbacks, there was no score in the first. So I won that bet, and then I bet that the Giants would lose. I figured maybe I might have a reverse effect and see the Giants actually start winning when I bet against them. So that's my role. I'm going to keep going. If they're going to keep tanking, I'm going to keep betting against them. And if they win, I'll be happy. And if they lose, at least I make some money out of the darn.
I mean, you know what the real bummer is? That they're so freaking dead. And I mean, of course, it all of a sudden it feels like the 13 out of 18 again. It feels like the Atlanta series was the Dodgers series, and now we've just fallen off a cliff once again. It's to a point where I don't even have the energy to bring it and rip them tonight. They're so dead that it's like I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. I seriously, I don't know what is going to happen. I mean, do you think that there's a chance these Giants finish under 500 like MF?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely at this point.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. It's one of the options. Peter Zimmer said, MF says 499. What a joke. This is an absolute mess. There's no way the Giants finish above 500. So that's MF. SG March says, break this team up. There's not one bright spot, including our farm system. Somebody who's saying to MF, Cali Hats, MF, you better go off tonight. MF, now we have people challenging other people.
Bring MF on early while he's got some
juice,
mojo, and let it rip.
Look at this one, guys. Peter Zimmer says, I'm starting to believe the Giants are intentionally tanking for the rest of the season. I'm not sure why I came to that conclusion, but they are no better than the Reds, the A's, the Angels, and the Cubs.
I don't think the players are intentionally tanking. I just think that these guys they're old and they're slow, and they've got they're facing teams that are younger, more athletic, more aggressive. And, I mean, hey, when you win 107 games, it doesn't matter how bad you're playing. You're still somewhat hunted because people want to show that, hey,
I mean, hell, especially if you're the Diamondbacks and you got freaking, what did we
17-2 last year.
17-2. So,
yeah.
By the way, let's focus on the task at hand. Sean Proctor says Laura Britt needs to wash her hair. It's always greasy as greasy as you know what. I don't get it. She's going on TV, never has clean hair. Let's leave poor Laura Britt alone. Seriously. Jason Neal says Scott Proctor, I believe it's product and her style. Yeah, let's leave. He's
trying to sell. He's trying to sell his company. He's trying to sell some Procter and Gamble products.
He's trying to. But I mean, can we all agree that let's leave Laura Britt and Carlos and George Conn? Let's leave everybody alone.
Yeah. I mean, I'm currently like rubbing moisturizer on my face as we speak.
Rodon,
Marco says Larry Legend is about to go off. I can't go off every single night. I just can't. I just don't have it in me.
What was it? Sunday you went off? Sunday?
I think it was Sunday. It was Sunday.
You had a day off. You had a day of rest. Your arm came back. You were stronger. You felt good. You were rested, and you let it rip. 104 mile per hour fastball on the black. Larry was dealing. He was unhittable.
Too is just that it's like Christmas morning tomorrow. Like Larry and I are about to go to camp, baby, and it's kind of like
on the eve of camp. It's like mom and dad sending us away to camp. You know?
Tim Ryan's about to slide down the fireplace.
Don't forget to pack an extra pair of underwear.
Let me throw this one to you guys. What do you think of this? What do you think of? Okay, if the season's lost or not. Okay.
I love the name. Humble season ticket salesman.
More Laura Britt's finding the woman we deserve after all those brutal years with Amy G. Let's not rip Amy G either. I like Amy G. Amy G's a good person. So let's not rip Amy G or Laura Britt. They're both really nice and they do fine job. I'll say this, when when you're doing these shows, whether it be radio, TV, it's hard, man. It's hard. You got to sometimes you're fronting a product. I mean, you are at times fronting a product that you didn't put together. You have no hand in, you know what I'm saying? And it's a challenge, and you're sitting there and you've got kind of an overlord of the Giants kind of sitting there listening and watching. You've got there. Everybody's very sensitive these days to any kind of criticism, and the team's lost 6 in a row, and they're in a little bit of a free fall here. And you really can't.
Hey, they got
you can't really crush. You can't really be honest. I mean, so these are tough spots. If you're on the flagship station, and believe me, as somebody who's spent a lot of years on the flagship stations of these teams, it is very, very tricky to do a post game, be true to yourself, be true to the fans, be fair to the team, and not criticize people to the point where it's like, man, you're a hater. So believe me, I do have a special warm spot in my heart for for all these people that do post game when they're on the flagship station, radio or television, because it's a challenge, and you got kind of a overlord looking over you saying, "Hey, look, you better not do this, or I'll yank this job away from you, and we'll get somebody else in there." And so these are you're pinched. You're constantly pinched. MF 499. How the hell do the Baltimore Orioles have a better record than the Giants? Giants won 107 freaking games last year. Because they're better. Because the Orioles have better talent. It's as simple as that.
Talent. They have an excellent bullpen. It's.
Now we got El Scorpio ripping Krueg. He says Kruko used to be open. He was one of the guys who always ripped on Belt about not listening. Then he went full homer. He hasn't criticized anyone during the entire 2017, 2018, 2019 funk. Another guy who's in a tough spot, right? I mean, not only that, you're traveling. You're going to get stank guy on the bus. You're going to get stank guy in the elevator at the hotel. You're going to get stank guy in the lobby. You're going to get stank guy on the plane. If I'm Kruko or if I'm any announcer, don't forget how David Price called out Dennis Eckersley in kind of a classless way. You don't know how hard this game is. What? You don't know who the hell you're talking about, David Price. I mean, at least know what the hell you're talking about before you rip Eck. I don't want to rip Krueg either. But what I was going to say is, what would you guys say to now the Soto thing? By the way, I'm reading Dodgers Padres. Oh my God. Can it get worse?
Cardinals are in line too.
But I mean, Dodgers, Padres. I mean, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him in this division, especially in the unbalanced schedule. But what do you think of a big play for Shohei? Because it sounds like, I mean, think about it from Artie Moreno's perspective. Who does Artie Moreno hate the most?
I don't know.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers. Okay.
If you want to get back at the Dodgers, why not trade Shohei in a big package to their arch rival, the Giants? You're Artie Moreno, and you want to get back at.
They're taking calls right now. On Shohei, they're. I don't know if they're listening, but GMs are calling. I told you guys a month ago. The Angels are going nowhere with him.
Well, I mean, I still would rather be.
He will get rid of him this year or next year.
I don't know.
He's a free agent after next
what
year.
do you think of this deal? Okay, I put together what I was thinking. Okay, here's a reasonable. I mean, it's not reasonable, but this is like the mass deal, like where you're going to put lots of players. Okay, what do the Giants have to move? Well, it says like I maybe prospects, but maybe major leaguers. What do you think of a deal involving like Reggie Crawford, who's a two-way player, kind of a younger version of Shohei, plus Patrick Bailey, Austin Slater, David VR, maybe Lamont Wade, maybe you get Matt Duffy coming back with an Ohtani.
Those guys for Ohtani? No way. You get laughed out of the. What piece
I'm just saying, control does he have? Like one more year
after this year? Yeah, 1 year. But what you're going to have to get?
I'm saying in addition to top tier prospects.
Oh, okay.
So you got to move like Luciano and you maybe don't have to move both. Maybe Luciano and. Crawford, maybe that would be the front of your package. And then you throw in guys like Slater and From what I'm hearing, the Angels want guys who are, in the majors ready to play right now. Outside of Webb, I
think it would take at least two top prospects, probably both Harrison.
Let's just say you didn't have to move Harrison. Let's say you could front the package with Luciano and Bednar and then Villar, Slater, Bailey, Reggie Crawford. You know what I mean?
Welcome to San Francisco, Shohei. What number would you like? What locker would you like?
My only problem with Shohei is just, it's nothing. I would freaking love having Shohei, but we bring him in here.
Shohei.
Let's say we bring him in here. I mean, what do we have around him? And because it'd be different if he had 4 years of team control, and it's like, okay, Shohei's here for the long run. I mean, it's going to be another probably, up and down year next year.
You could probably sign him. He's not going to have Boris as his agent, I don't believe. So,
but like, are you willing to give? I mean, what do we do? Imagine this though. Imagine the pickle we'd be in if we gave away top prospects for Shohei and he walked after a year. Then we literally have nothing.
Well, yeah, that's a big risk. It's a big risk. And there's no question. Mark Hope donates $2. He says, not tanking. It's Farhan cutting Sabe's guys, i.e. Duggar. MF donates $4.99. He says, what a joke. This is an absolute mess. There's no way the Giants finish above 500.
He also donated here too.
I mean, you just keep
MF,
a spreadsheet.
is Larry still connected with Greg Cosell? Would he come on the Krueg show, or is he too big time for the gig? Well, I tried to get him on the radio, but he does have an exclusive with KMBR. As far as the YouTube, we can try. But he's a tough guy to get for sure. And I can't make any promises that I can get Greg to come aboard. Steve Roach, $2. The numbers don't lie. No need to distract Team Cap. So make sure we get that one in.
Oh, Calba.
Calba's down here, says, I have the right read on the CBA. I think the Giants can still trade Rosenthal before the deadline once he's off the injured list, unless he has a no trade clause. Pasquale, please. You want some Pasquale? You asked for Dan Pasquale, you get Dan Pasquale.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
There you go.
What I say with the Giants and Gabe, I'm not an anti-Kapler, can't stand the guy type person. I think Gabe did a fantastic job last year. He deserved manager of the year. But this year, he doesn't seem to be making moves that make sense. Like, he doesn't go with guys that are hot. He'll pull a guy after he hits a home run just to get a, platoon advantage. And it's like, how do guys get in a groove? When you hit a home run or you hit a nice double or something or whatever it is, you have confidence the next time you're going up. It doesn't matter if it's a righty facing a righty or lefty left. It's just mind-boggling that he pulls guys like that. And so what's happened is he's made lineups with guys out of position. We saw it, Sunday against the Dodgers, Mercedes, tie game. He's out there in the 7th inning of a tie game. Even if you started him there, that's time to have a defensive replacement. You should know better. Get him out. And Mercedes misjudges a fly ball. It opens the floodgates, and they get beat. So to me, those are on the manager and not on, Farhan, what he's given them and stuff like that. It's decision-making. And then when a team is tanking, you're on the 6-game losing streak. Just prior to their 9-game stretch where they won 7 out of 9, they were on another 3-8 streak. So this is a sign where you see a team come up and they come out of it, and then they start tanking again. That's a morale problem. I'm telling you, that is an issue that the players are not fighting for their manager. And if the manager has lost the room, you have to make a change for the betterment of the entire organization. Because
did you guys see this one? Sorry to interrupt you, Danny, but Frisco Willie says, Larry, guys, did you see Larry Bear's State of the Team sit down last night? He said they're not trading the farm for Soto. Also said they'll be buyers at the deadline. Interesting that Farhan. What's that?
I actually didn't catch it. I
didn't catch it either, but it doesn't surprise me that they aren't going to give away the farm for Soto. It doesn't surprise me that they will be buyers at the deadline. I've been predicting they'll be buyers at the deadline. I don't know that they should be, but I think that they will be. They are within, right there for a wild card. That's not their nature to give up at all.
Well, I'll say this about the Braves last year. They were in a similar situation.
Wait, but didn't you say that the Giants were officially dead if they lost the Rodon game?
Well, it kind of feels like that in a way, and I see what happens tomorrow. But I mean,
they're dead. They're dead.
I think it's very likely they are. But if they have some trade moves, if they're going to try and go for it, they need a Laureano, a guy that can play every day in center field. They need a solid left-handed reliever because they have none. Garcia is awful. He's getting beat, and Long's getting beat. Every time they go out there, they're just getting plastered. So, and Tyler Rogers is getting plastered. So they need 2 to 3 bullpen pieces. And then they need to DFA guys like La Stella and Longoria, but Longoria will come back. I know it because it's a grade 1 hamstring, so he'll be back in a month for sure. And so they won't do that, but they can, if they get Laureano, get a guy like Josh Bell or a Brandon Drury who's having a career year and he's a free agent after this year. So it wouldn't take a lot to get guys like that. That can infuse some energy and belief. If you make 4 or 5 deals, look what the Braves did last year. They lost Ronald Acuna, and they were at this stage right around the same record as the Giants. They made household sweeping moves.
You did even at that time, if you did like the report, quote unquote, report card we did last night on their roster, it's still like,
Yeah, but Ryan, if you make 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that come in, it brings in a whole different
6 guys, energy. Danny, you're going to trade for 6 guys.
Well, I'm talking about 2 or 3 relievers. Okay. And then I'm talking about
that's 6. That's a lot. That's a lot.
At least 4. You can
I think it speaks volumes as to what they need. Well, let's get to something at hand here. Ron Raquel says, "Hi Larry, I love your new show. How do I become a member of your new podcast?" Guys,
fun stuff.
How do they become a member? Rye, go ahead. Tell them how they can become a member.
Okay, so if you're on your laptop, you can just go to the channel and you can click join. If you're on your iPhone, however, it's super annoying. You can't be in the YouTube app if you have an iPhone. I think it might work for Android, but what you got to do is you got to open up a browser, Safari or Chrome, on your phone. Go to the YouTube channel on there, and then I can't remember. I think it's like the 3 little dots or whatever it is, the settings you click on, where you have like your bookmarks and stuff. There should be something that says request desktop site. You click that and then boom, you can do it.
You can then hit join. Fun. You hit join. Here, we'll play the video right now. If you want to be a club member, here it is. So there you go. That's how you can become a member. Just go to the page and hit join, and of course hit like and subscribe. That's always good. And when you subscribe, you'll be alerted and every time we're going live. And if you hit join, you'll be a team member. And you want to be a team member because we are going to have all kinds of training camp stuff just for team members. We're also going to play fantasy football this year with people that are part of our team members. Look at this. Sean Proctor has become a YouTube member of the Krueg Show. Sean, I think, just joined us last night.
I know. I was loving Sean's energy last night. I think
he was awesome last night.
On like, let's run it back again tomorrow night. I was just so ready to at least talk about some. I want to just keep the delusion going a little bit that we're in it. We need to Rodon the freaking. I mean, come on, boys. 3 runs. What are we doing?
Mark Hope, $2. Love you, MF. Respect for MF. We got MF in here saying, Mark Hope talking trash to me. I love this show. Look at that. Now we're having rivalries. Guys donating to have rivalries with one another. This one from MF, $4.99. I watched the John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan presser today. What are your guys' thoughts on Jimmy being healthy? I think they will trade him.
Yeah,
I think they will trade him. Sean Proctor donates $1.99. Cosell would be amazing on the podcast. Yeah, he would.
But
and
Larry,
if we can get him, we'll try to get him.
I was going to say to that because I know Cosell's a hard guy to get. He's got exclusives with all these radio stations, like the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
And he works so damn hard.
He works like crazy. But what I will say, and I don't think that this is hyperbolic. I actually do not think this is hyperbolic because I think Greg is the best. And he was like one of the main reasons why I still listened to KMBR when I was in college. But we are going to have a guy on weekly, and not only does not only will he bring possibly even better analysis than Greg Cosell. Guy grinds the tape just as much, but he has a British accent. We have the UK's version of Greg Cosell and Ollie Connolly. He will be joining us, and Ollie is incredible. This is awesome. Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Just say sausage into your phone. Instant sign up. But yeah, if you're in the chat right now, and we've got almost 200 people in the chat, hit like and subscribe.
Hit like and subscribe. If you hit like, that fuels the show. If you hit subscribe, of course, that helps the show as well. And if you're a big fan of the show and you want this content on a regular basis, and by the way, we will be evaluating your fantasy team. If you're a team member, you can do that. You can send us your fantasy squad. We'll evaluate it for you on the show. In addition, if you're a team member this year, each and every week that you put together your fantasy lineup, you can run it by us on the show, and we will examine your team and your opponent and tell you what, we'll give you our insights on your team. So we're going to do that for team members. We're also going to play fantasy football this year in a league with myself and Rye and Dan and you. But we're only going to pick people from the club to be in our fantasy league.
We're going to be fair.
Look at this. Look at this. Maximilio Romay, I think is his name. There you go.
Maximiliano?
Maximiliano. That's a name, man.
Maximiliano Romay.
MF donates $4.99. Does Greg Cosell get annoyed by KMBR for making fun of his laugh? No. I guarantee you he does not. He does have a great laugh. We used to compare who's got the better, more contagious laugh between Greg and Farhan. Something tells me Farhan's not laughing as much this year.
Oh. What do you think Farhan's doing during these games? Do you think he's like a Billy Bean type? Have you asked him that? Like, is he a guy that intently just watches the games, or?
I think he does the Billy thing. I think he puts on some sweats, goes into the clubhouse, and kind of works out a little bit.
I like that.
That's my guess.
I did that in the Warriors.
Farhan's dreadful. I don't know about dreadful.
Donation up there. What was that last one?
PG.
Here we go. Brandon Graham, $10. Giants will make marginal moves, maybe a splash like Josh Bell or JD Martinez, but more likely we will see Andrew Chafin and J-Mayer Candelario then go big on Judge in the offseason.
Who knows? I mean, I do think the Giants, I've been saying this for days, I really think their best option at this point is go ahead and trade Rodon, get a top 100 prospect.
Yes.
Trade Jock. I hate trading Jock, but maybe you can talk to Jock on the side and say,
he's not an everyday guy. I mean,
maybe you can make a deal and say, hey, look, Jock, we know you're going to be a free agent. We'd like to have you back. We're going to trade you so we can make this team better going forward. And we look forward to, we'll sign you for a 2-year deal at $10 million a year. Come back.
Danny, here's the thing, though. That's so un-Giants like. They don't do that.
They should. I don't know why they don't.
But they don't.
They should. I don't know why people don't think like that, because
I know. It's time to start thinking outside the box. It's time to start being aggressive. It's time to start hawking guys in July and bidding on them in December and being aggressive and trying to build this thing fast because the clock's ticking. Sean Proctor donates $1.99. Save me a spot in the fantasy league. Let's effing go.
We definitely will have 9. I think we got to do a 12-team league so that we have 9 people, because there's so many people that want to be in it. And then it's just, guys, after that, we are just going to do an at random. Maybe we'll do it live, one of those generators. We're just going to pick 9. And then just think about how cool it's going to be. You're going to be freaking, I'm going to be texting you all the freaking time, like trying to trade. And
here's one that came up. So my son and I, my 13-year-old, this is like the way I can get my 13-year-old to talk to me now is like, let's do fantasy. Let's compare our fantasy notes. Let's do a fantasy draft. So we went on ESPN the other night, and he got his list, I got my list, and I said, let's draft a team together. So we got to our first round pick, and we didn't have a high pick. We had like a, bottom of the top 10 type pick.
That's a turn.
Yeah. And we got, it came down, I forget who we took first, but we got to the second round, and we were debating between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Ooh,
who would you?
Jefferson.
We went with Jefferson.
Jefferson. Going to be, man, he's good.
And then the thing snaked around, and we got one pick away from getting Chase as well.
I had both of those guys last year.
Really? Did you win?
No, I can't. I lost the championship game, but yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so those are probably my two favorite receivers in the game. I just think Justin Jefferson is going off this year.
New offense too. Well, okay, Larry, I want
Kevin O'Connell.
He sees all that money everybody's getting out there, the receivers.
I don't want to distract real quick, but Larry, I don't want to put you on the spot here, but okay, every year, at least in the last 4 years, there's been these Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chases that just literally come into the league and immediately are Pro Bowl level dudes that are awesome for your fantasy team, but you never really know. I mean, with Jamar Chase, you kind of had an idea, but you never truly.
He was terrible in the preseason.
He was terrible. He couldn't catch a thing. And so,
I almost got him. I almost got him last year in the draft, and he went to Murph, one pick in front of me, and that was the one pick. I'm like, son of a bitch. I go, I wanted Jamar Chase, and I was like, oh my God, I had him targeted, and I'm like, I'm going Jamar Chase. Boom, Murph had the pick in front. He took Jamar Chase. It was the difference in the year. Really was the difference. MF donates $9.99. His thoughts on Ramon Laureano coming to the Giants. Wouldn't mind his personality and fire to this club. This club looks lifeless right now. We need some fire. I mean, MF, you're spot on. It's a lifeless, dead bunch. I mean, the Giants right now, they're only hitting each other in the dugout by kicking bats. I mean, they don't hit on the field. MF says, here's $4.99. I've been doing a few mock drafts. I really like Kenneth Walker III now and Robinson this year. A-Rob is in L.A. He's behind Cooper Kupp, but I agree. I think Robinson with the Rams could go off. I love Kenneth Walker. I don't know if Kenneth Walker is going to start right away. There's Rashad Penny, but did you see the news of the day? Chris Carson decided to retire. By the way, Tony Callaway has become a team member. Look at that. Tony's going to be playing fantasy with us this year.
And speaking in fantasy, again, I don't know if I ever even got to my question there.
Go ahead.
Who would be your pick for those guys? If you could pick two of this class that you'd like to.
I like Garrett Wilson.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I love Garrett Wilson from who's playing with the Jets. I think the Ohio State kid.
Ohio State receiver?
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's terrific. Now, many rookie receivers struggle. I think he's going to be terrific. Who are some of the other ones? Remind me of who else is out there.
I do not like
Drake London. No, don't like Drake London.
Yeah, no. Treylon Burks as the AJ Brown replacement's not bad.
Yeah, but who's the other receiver there?
Who is their other guy? Who they just got some.
Who got Olave from Ohio State?
No, Saints.
Wow.
By the way, Tony D, new member. Tony D has become a new YouTube member. Way to go, Tony. We'll play a little fantasy with Tony this year. Let me check who the Titans' other receiver is. They got somebody else.
Then just running down. I mean, Sky Moore and KC.
I like Sky Moore. I took Sky Moore. I like Danny Gray.
Here's the 49ers. Yeah. Here's a really interesting one, and because I think that this is going to be the most polarizing one, is Christian Watson. Because I mean, you theoretically,
they have the Titans added Treylon Burks, but they also added Robert Woods.
Okay,
yeah. I'll tell you, I like Dez Fitzpatrick in that camp for the Titans as well. He played at Louisville. He's not a rookie, but he's definitely a talent.
If the Steelers had a quarterback, I would just immediately assume that Pickens would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, it's hard.
I like Pickens. I like Pickens a lot. George Pickens was a 5-star recruit and has had some injuries. Big bodied guy from Georgia, but I don't know. That's a tough one.
We haven't touched on and is just really sad is John Mechie, man.
Yeah, he's got leukemia, a rare form of leukemia.
Oh, wow.
What the hell?
That's right. I did see that.
And he is a guy, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been drafted earlier. And it's just horrible.
Tony D, been a Krueg fan forever. Happy to support the channel. Tony, there you go. Thank you, bro. I really do appreciate that.
2 times.
G. Martinez says Sky Moore from Western Michigan. Yeah, Sky Moore, there's an extra Y in there. It's Sky with 2 Ys more. But yeah, he's replacing Tyreek Hill in KC.
And Valdez Scantling, right? Or
MVS is there as well, but he's kind of more of a go route. I think Sky Moore might be actually, the guy who gets a little bit more of the action.
I'll tell you who no one's going to draft is the kid that New England took, that kid out of Baylor, Tyquan.
What about Alan Lazard with the Packers?
I'll tell you the two guys I love for the Packers. I love Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean,
won't Lazard be the number one guy though?
Lazard would be the number one guy to start the year, but I'm telling you, by the end of the year, Christian Watson is a home run hitter, so I think he could have a big year, but there's going to be an adjustment there. But the guy who hits the ground running, I mean, he's a pro-ready receiver and he's got unbelievable ball skills, is Romeo Doubs. And I've seen this before. When you mix in a receiver, albeit a young receiver, who has elite ball skills like Doubs, and then a quarterback who's deadly accurate like Rodgers, that's hard to stop. I would say Romeo Doubs should be your late round sleeper in your fantasy drafts. And remember that name, Romeo Doubs.
Maybe Alec Pierce. I mean, I know you weren't as high on him before the draft.
The Colts, right?
I like him with the Colts playing off of.
I don't see separation there, though.
He's got a 4. You had a 4.3.
How about the Niners?
I don't know if I buy that. I mean, it's like I don't see the quickness, to be honest. I think that's more of a stopwatch time. Let me check that.
Like Jordy, the Niners though, with the running back, TD Price. Do you think he might get a lot of TDs down there at the goal line?
It's probably not worth to draft him because it's too much of a cluster.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if you say who is the best fantasy player for the Niners, it's easy to say it's Debo. It might be Lance. Some people would say it's Mitchell.
Kittle,
Ayuk.
I think Price is going to fantasy. I think Price is going to be their go-to guy down at the goal line, and maybe some Jeff Wilson. But I just think they're going to, when they get in goal line packages, that Mitchell will not be in there.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go running back by committee. Yeah. Sean Proctor donates $1.99. Did you see Aaron Rodgers show up today as Con Air Nick Cage? I saw him wearing the tank top.
Yeah,
wearing the tank top and the jeans.
Drop the bag.
I mean,
it's quite the look.
So Larry, I want to throw this one to you because I threw this to Dan when I heard that Steph Curry was hosting the ESPYs. Do you think there's ever a chance, because he's so authentic and it seems like he's impervious, but do you think there's ever a chance that Curry kind of has a weirder stage in his like elder 30s, the way like LeBron got weird and Rodgers got weird and Brady got weird, and it just seems like these guys
start? No, I don't think they'll do that.
I think Steph is, and weird in what way? I mean,
like everybody as Nick Cage and like going
long hair and having like going through style changes and that kind of thing. I don't see it. I think Steph's too grounded. I agree. It is interesting though. If I say to you fantasy sleeper this year, who are you guys going with? Do you have a fantasy sleeper?
I don't know if I'm at liberty.
I'm a little tempted to take Mac Jones. Did you see all the incredible praise that Bill Belichick has lobbed towards Mac Jones? How he's worlds better than last year. He's improved his body. They added Devontae Parker. They've got Kendrick Bourne. His team's got Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. They've got some weapons. I mean, it's not incredible weapons by any stretch, but they can run the ball. They got a pretty good offensive line. Mac, what do you think?
I'll give you Rashad Bateman
in Baltimore. The only thing is that what is going on with Lamar Jackson? I mean, 3 years ago it was like 35 touchdowns, 6 picks. 2 years ago it was like 28 touchdowns, 7 picks. This year was like 16 touchdowns and 13 picks,
and like a bunch of fumbles and less rushing.
Speaking of quarterbacks that are mobile, did you see the stipulations put in Kyler Murray's contract?
Yeah,
that he spends time studying or something. What the hell was that?
Crazy. What does that tell you? Yeah. What does that tell you? He must have not been taking it serious if they had to put it in the contract.
I talked to 2 people. One of them
is a strange thing to put in the contract.
Every quarterback studies.
I talked to a guy who was a third string behind him with the Cardinals, and then also a guy who played Cape Cod baseball with him. And both guys were like, he, even in the freaking Cape Cod baseball league, just would not even give you the time of day, like acted like he was already freaking superstar. And I know Michael Lombardi is like, he's super on this. Like, Kyler is not a dude. Like, nobody in that locker room is like, Kyler's my guy. Like, he just kind of shows up, does his own thing, isn't that hard of a worker.
I don't, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what he is. Sean Proctor says Julio Jones signed with Tampa today. I did see that. Sean also says Lamar is not accurate.
He was 2 years ago.
Tony D says, I cannot take McCorkle, Mac Jones. I'm telling you, Tony. God. Vicky Pellich throws in the sleeper. Gabe Davis, Buffalo Bills. That is a good sleeper. I like that.
That'd be awesome if it did.
Brandon Graham throws in Tim Patrick as a sleeper.
I like Tim Patrick. I mean, you know who was another one?
Tall.
I like DeAndre Swift this year. As like,
it's funny when he's saying Tim Patrick. The guy who I think's going off in year 2 is Jerry Jeudy with Russell Wilson.
He can keep healthy. He's going to be on
Denver, yeah,
because now you add Russell Wilson. There's going to be somebody's going off, and it's probably going to be Jeudy.
Seriously, I think the Broncos.
Going on with speaking of guys signing, anything on Tart? Has he signed anywhere?
He went to the Eagles.
He did. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? I was watching the NFL has those, I think they're either hour long or half hour long, like reviews of last season. Did you guys see that? And they play them over and over and over again on the NFL Network. 2021 Niners, 2021 Raiders, 2021 Broncos, 2021 Rams. Did you guys see any? They had one on the Niners. And I'll tell you, watching it, it's like, Tart made a lot of big plays for them.
Yeah,
they are going to miss Jaquiski Tart. He makes big plays against the run and the pass. Does he have good hands against the pick on interceptions? No, we all know that. But they're going to miss Jaquiski. They are going to miss Jaquiski.
Sure.
MF donates $4.99. Says Tim Ryan yelling, pick it up, Hafanga, during the Packers game got me really fired up. Love streaming the games on KMBR. Listen to pre and post on 95.7 The Game. Yeah, I'll be doing pregame for them this year on 95.7 The Game, so check us out over there. Sean Proctor says Jerry Jeudy runs the sharpest routes. How about this one? Rod Dunham breaking: Jimmy Garoppolo signs with the San Francisco Giants to play left field. Chardal says, can you read my comment? Chardal, which comment?
President Thompson for VP.
What comment do you want me to read? Here's this one from Chardal. Do you think Klay Thompson would make a great vice president? Why not? Why not?
If you want me to get political, I won't. I'm not going to go.
Don't get political.
I'm not going to go there.
Oh yeah, I think we gave our thoughts on Jude.
Thoughts on Jerry Jeudy? I think he's tremendous. He had Drew Lock. He's had some injuries. Denver's got a lot of weapons. I'll tell you another sleeper that I can't even pronounce the guy's name, but the Denver tight end. They call him Albert O.
Was he the Ohio State kid?
No, he played at Mizzou, and his name's Albert Okwugbanam. What'd you say? What'd you call me? Okwugbanam. And it's just better as Al. It's funny. If you watch his college film and you watch his pro film, when the announcers are trying to mix him in the middle of the highlights, Alberto.
Yeah.
Alberto. They see a name that's that long with that many consonants, and they're like, you're Alberto.
I mean, hey, it's understandable. I didn't, Greek Freak was pretty easy off the bat. I think that people stuck with that one for like 3 or 4 years.
Now we're getting some football questions. MF is making a donation here. He says, thoughts on the Miami Dolphins backfield with Mike McDaniel there this year.
Sure, it's going to be awesome.
Well, it's interesting. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill called Jalen Waddle the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. Called not Jalen Waddle, Tua Tagovailoa, the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. But you look at that backfield. I like Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert added to Sony Michel, Myles Gaskin. There's some decent backs there. They got a really good tight end in Gesicki, and then Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, Trent Sherfield's there now.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to be really good.
Dolphins. A lot of people are bullish on the Dolphins. The team that I'm bullish on is the Jets. I think Zach Wilson has a big second year.
Really?
Sean, yeah, because I love Garrett Wilson. I like the combination of Robert Saleh coordinating up the D. They added Sauce Gardner on the corner. Now you've got, Zach Wilson coming of age and some decent weapons. I like it. To me, that's attractive.
Their first pick in the first round was Sauce Gardner. Who was their other?
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, that's right. Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
And then they took the pass rusher we all wanted.
Sean Proctor, 199. Scary to think the O-line rests on Banks. Oh, I know.
That is scary.
How about this one? Lou Marston has become a YouTube member. Louie and I go way back. Louie, fist in the air. We go back to grammar school together.
No way.
Really?
Yes.
Louie.
Yes.
Damn. Spill the Krueger tea.
Louie's the man. Louie's the man. His brother Sheldon, his sister Marlena, the Marstons, we love them. Good people. Lou, great Giants fan. His dad was a great horse player, horse owner, I believe. Golden Gate Fields. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some thoroughbred racing in their blood, but Louie's a big Giants fan, big Niner fan, I believe, and just a great sports fan. So Louie, thanks for being a member. Appreciate you, brother. GD5 says Jermaine Johnson. Johnson's part of the Jets. Right? I thought that was a steal. That was an absolute steal.
Just for a sleeper.
And Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall. In fact, Christian Hernandez says Breece Hall was also a solid pick by the Jets, the Iowa State running back.
They had a good draft. Very good draft.
The only problem is that I feel like we all three of us, we like the Bills, or at least I like the Dolphins, and then I think we all kind of like the Patriots this year.
Who got the Bills in our pick? Was it you, Rye, or Larry? Larry,
no,
I think.
I took the Bills to start it off. The Bills are loaded. The Bills are stacked.
Looking at my team the other day, I think I've got some almost 8 playoff teams.
Look at the Bills. Here's why I love the Bills. Josh Allen. Then they added James Cook, the running back from Georgia, who's a phenomenal receiver. And then you add him to Devin Singletary. They still, I believe, have Zach Moss in the backfield.
I like Singletary.
Yeah, and then they've got they added OJ Howard, they've got Dawson Knox, so you got the 2 tight end set. But then the real sleeper move,
right?
They've got Stephon Diggs, they've got Gabe Davis, they added Jamison Crowder, who's now he's a tremendous slot receiver. But then they drafted, I thought, one of the sleeper receivers in the entire draft, the Boise State kid, Khalil Shakir. And Khalil Shakir might be the rookie receiver who bust out. This kid's got great ball skills, incredible hands. He's a tremendous route runner. So, you've got Josh Allen now in the offense with more weapons at his disposal. He can check it down to James Cook. He can find Khalil Shakir. They can go deep. They've got Diggs. They got Gabe Davis. They got a crafty slot receiver. And, they added some decent talent on defense as well. Defense, I still, they got to have Tre'Davious White healthy. He wasn't healthy at the end of last year. But I think Buffalo, don't sleep on Buffalo. They added the San Diego State punter.
How can you sleep on Buffalo? They're like the favorite.
I had to bring up our teams just so everyone knows. We did a draft.
Yeah, I was just.
Don't worry about the scoring system. We'll announce that later because it's a little tricky. But essentially, we all drafted teams, and there's going to be a point system where we figure out who had the best draft. So, everyone out there, let us know who they think had the best draft.
There's a team on there. Oops. I'm looking for the wrong name. Sorry.
How can you go wrong with my picks?
I was looking
Bills,
for the
Chiefs, Colts, Pats, Titans, Browns. The Titans are the only team.
The Browns are looking like a goddamn steal now that it's like maybe they get Jimmy.
Is that where do you guys think Jimmy winds up?
I said Cleveland. I'm sticking with Cleveland because I said it early on.
What's bizarre is that
Sean Proctor, Larry has the best team.
Keep in mind, we also get to drop.
I ever mentioned how much I like Sean Proctor?
Yeah,
I was looking on the list, and I go, somebody's going to maybe get a sleeper because then I don't see him. And I go, we didn't pick him. And
how about this one? 49ers, Zach Wilson will always go for over 40. Didn't Zach Wilson date his mom's friends or something like that?
Oh yeah,
something like it. But I was looking for the. What are they? The Commodores now? I was looking for the.
I picked them.
The old name. I know. I see that. I'm looking for. I was looking for the
Washington football team.
Well, I was looking. I even before that, you know,
Kelly Hat says, "I'm going to FP on KMBR. I need more Giants bashing." LOL. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a lot of bashing going on over
how
there.
about this for a sleeper with the Commodore? What are they called? The
Commanders.
Commanders. Okay, whatever.
The Commodores? What are we like? Starting at quarterback, Lionel Richie. Say
That's
you, say
why I'm
me.
easy like Sunday morning. Okay,
Danny,
here we go.
Wait. Can you give us a little Commodores, Danny? I mean,
what was that one song I liked of them?
Brick House.
Brick House. Yeah, she's a brick house. She's mighty. Letting it all hang out.
Okay, most underrated. Now that movie or that song was sang by Sinbad and the late Phil Hartman in one of, I think, the most underrated comedies in the history of American cinema. Do you know what movie I'm talking about? What movie?
Asking the wrong guy.
What movie featured Sinbad and the late Phil Hartman? It was called House Guest. You guys ever see House Guest?
Oh, yeah.
Right. You have to rent House Guest.
Writing it down.
Oh, seriously, Rye, you have to check out House Guest. That one, and you know what's the other one I saw the other day? Did you guys ever see the Ben Stiller movie about how he marries the girl and then she becomes a freaking nightmare?
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about that movie because of my freaking sunburn, dude.
Oh my God!
It's the sunburn and just becomes the Heartbreak Kid.
Heartbreak Kid. It was on the other day.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, that's old. Is that with Sybil Shepherd? That one?
No. Sybil, no.
2006, maybe.
There was another one called Heartbreak Kid.
It has Jerry Stiller in it. It has Ben Stiller with his dad.
Just talking about how much P word he gets, like in the hot tub.
Yeah. And his buddy, who was from Harold and Kumar Go to Guantanamo Bay. Who's that comedy actor? The comedy actor. He's like, I'm growing out my bangs. He's totally bald, but he's got this little tuft of hair right here, and he grows it out.
Wait.
Oh my God, the guy is hilarious. That actor is hilarious.
For what movie?
He was in the Harold and Kumar.
Oh, Harold and Kumar, Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, he was the guy. He was the guy who was like the cop who was going to bust them.
He was not the sea meat sandwich guy.
Yeah, it is that guy. I think it's that same movie at least. But no, this guy he's in that movie with Ben Stiller, Heartbreak Kid, and he plays, and he's like telling the guy to get married, and he's just getting, hey, you're part of the club, hey, all this stuff, and everything just goes south. She sings like a maniac. She said she was a environmental researcher, and then he's like, well, we've got two incomes, and she's like, what do you mean 2 incomes? I'm volunteer. He's like, I thought you were an environmental researcher. She's like, it's volunteer. I mean, it's just awesome. That movie just makes me laugh my ass off.
He's on him at some point, I think.
Very funny.
To find out what's going on. Romo, can you tell us a little bit about this comment? He must have heard something on the post game. If Kapler got on Rodon for what he did, what
happened? What are you reading?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out. He said he threw him under the bus. I wonder if he got on him for kicking the bat, like for showing emotion in the dugout. If that's the case, Rodon will be gone.
Yeah, I mean, let's start. How to lose your job after a 107-win season? Pick on your veteran players.
You want to see a guy. I mean, it was an accident. Gabe's going to probably. What is he going to go? Hey, Carlos, you have to have some self-control.
Rodon has a history of anger, according to Kapler.
Oh, come on.
You know what? Watching this Giants team makes me have a history of anger.
All right, I got to find this quote.
I got to see what's going on.
It's Rob Corddry or Corddry. Rob Corddry, I think. I think that's that guy's name, who you're talking about from Harold and Kumar. Guy's hilarious.
This one says, Rodon to the Yankees send us Estevan Florial. Is Florial even still a prospect anymore? He's got him. He's been in the Yankee system for a number of years.
Look at the Giants. I'm looking at the NBC Sports Bay Area app. The first 2 headlines: Rodon loses cool, Giants fall again. Next headline.
Rodon loses
kicks
cool.
bat, which hits Estrada in second dugout blow up. Taylor Worth.
You want to hear?
Oh my God! You're going to make a big deal of that.
Slams glove in dugout after giving up homer.
Let me read his quote after, because it couldn't be a nicer, more cordial apology. Carlos Rodon on the podium. Unacceptable action. I hit a teammate, probably the nicest teammate on our team. Just a selfish action that is unacceptable and cannot happen. I take every amount of it. Cannot happen. I just feel stupid. That's as like, I mean, come on. I didn't even think that warranted like a public apology. And
of course not. My God, it was an accident.
Because the woke Gabe is making a big deal out of it and saying,
and you know what that is? If Kapler's making a big deal out of Rodon's bat kick there, that's the equivalent of a backfire to not. Don't notice that we're a tire fire over here and the veterans have tuned my ass out. Let's go filibuster about Rodon kicking a bat. I mean, that is a backfire meant to distract, if that indeed is the case.
If you're getting on
this too. This isn't a quote from Arizona. This is from an Arizona Diamondbacks Twitter account. After being swept in L.A., Giants manager Gabe Kapler said they would, quote, unquote, get it right when they got to Arizona. And then it says Josh Rojas and his teammates didn't take that well, responded well with their play last night, and continued it into tonight. So that's great. They're more fired up.
I heard that quote tonight.
Lou Marson says Rodon will never be back. Would you give him freedom? Yeah, seriously, free Carlos Rodon.
Wait, guys, I think I finally figured out who MF is.
What do you got?
Joey Bart was pulled from tonight's game because he was, quote, ghost white and puking. Manager Gabe Kapler said. I mean, all the sausage puking and whatnot. It was a bad joke.
Oh, that's MF? You think MF is Joey Bart?
He might be MF.
Joey Bart's burner.
We are Bart truthers.
Bomber T. I like this one. Just very succinct. Giants have sunk.
They've absolutely sunk.
Are the Giants the Titanic? Are they headed to the bottom of the North Atlantic?
They're not even the Titanic, Larry. The Titanic was a grand ship filled with...
I can still smell the fresh paint. That was the old lady from Titanic. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. By the way,
I can still smell the fresh paint.
Can I get a hot take off?
Did you like that? Do you see how talented I am?
That is extremely talented.
I mean,
very extremely.
In a second, if you guys had closed your eyes, you were on the deck of the Titanic. I was that little old lady. And how selfish of her. She had that incredible jewel. She dropped it in the ocean. Have you heard about maybe giving it to your grandkids?
Oh, Larry, that was the take.
My God, you just passed along generational wealth at the bottom of the ocean.
Think about it. She's like actually the worst. Now that I'm getting older, it's like she was gonna marry this dude, and all of a sudden, an hour with this rough and like different kid, this kid from like a different background and whatever, and you've just left your husband for him? Like, what?
She was a slut. She was a slut, I tell you.
I still argue that she wasn't. Yes, I still argue she could have got him up on that iceberg. At least in the movie, they look like there was some room there. Like, what the hell?
He was a jerk, though. He was a jerk. Cal, I think her husband name was Cal.
That guy was in. He
killed himself.
He's always a dandy. He was a dandy in. The great Western Tombstone. Great dandy in that. I think
as I was watching that movie Titanic, I was thinking, what would I do? What if you're going down? Okay, you're on the Titanic. You're on the Titanic. It's about to sink. You basically have to choose how you're going down. Would you be one of these like rats, like trying to like hold on for the last second? Would you take? I mean, there were guys that ended it all. There were How about Cal? Didn't Cal pick up a kid and use the kid as a shield so he could get on one of the lifeboats?
A meat shield. Wait! I didn't even.
What would you do? I think I would just jump in. I think I would just jump in.
Okay,
That's it.
I agree with you too, because that'd be pretty quick. But I didn't even get to the biggest part of why she's the worst. How about the fact that she's been with her husband, her new husband now for like 60 years and had kids and grandkids, and she's still thinking about this guy she met for an hour. Like, what is that? And then she throws the jewel away.
Right. The heart wants what the heart wants. God. The heart wants what the heart wants. The guy had artistic skills though. He painted her in the nude.
That's true.
And
you're doing that voice, I was imagining you and huddled up in the nude with a tasteful cloth over.
I can still smell the fresh paint. MF donates $4.99. Farhan drafted Vaughn Brown. Don't hate on Farhan. Oh, so now Vaughn Brown is what? Ruth and Gehrig and Mays and Aaron all wrapped into one?
All wrapped into one.
Let's pump the brakes on Vaughn Brown.
What's happening with this club though right now? You always try and look for a silver lining.
Chardall says I do a great old lady voice.
Yeah. Always
do you
try
like
to
my
look
old
for
lady voice?
Silver lining. Very good. Very, very good.
It might be better put in like a horror movie. Like you might be a good horror old lady. I'm going to get you kids.
Wait a second. Now we're comparing Giants to old ships. The Giants are the Lusitania getting blown out of the water.
I think the silver lining in all this, though, is maybe they make some trades and have a direction in the sense
unlike this live stream. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, right. No, I mean, just like right now, they've been, they're wandering between
the heart of the ocean. If it's so damn great, why don't you just keep it?
He did paint her like one of his French girls.
the prospects that are coming up, they're waiting, and they're trying to fill them with 1-year-old contract guys that are washed up. Why not start trading everybody off and getting guys that are in AA, AAA that, we can get excited about? Maybe they can get 2 to 3 top 100 prospects by dealing some of the guys. And I was looking at the draft. This whole thing was Soto. The Cardinals are one of the front runners because they've got 2 or 3 guys they drafted in 2020 and 2021.
You know what?
That are already up.
Yeah, they got Jordan Walker, that third baseman who was in the futures game, and they're going to use him as the centerpiece. And he's a huge, athletic, 6'5", 6'6" third baseman with tons of power. That's the thing. You have to.
But who did we draft in 2020? Who was our first pick? Bailey?
I think a guy named Dan Coccimilgio.
Yeah, to be fair, the Cardinals were tanking. They weren't getting any big free agents. It's
but they drafted behind the Giants. They drafted behind the Giants, and the Giants went Bailey. And so
don't you understand the Kyle Harrison pick in the third round?
I get that, and I understand what they were doing, but it's like that was a risk. There was no guarantee that.
The Giants. Believe me, the Giants are they're still trying to figure things out when it comes to the amateur draft. I mean, they seriously are. I mean, they're not like, oh yeah, you can just absolutely bank that they're going to do the right thing. What
I don't understand, Larry, is these guys that are drafted, the Giants guys that have been drafted are in high A. The Cardinals and Padres are in AAA and AA, and they're killing it. Why are they so much teams able to move their guys so quickly through their system? And
it's a great question. I mean, the Giants in the 60s had a phenomenal farm system. They produced McCovey. They produced Bill White, Willie Kirkland, Jim Ray Hart, George Foster, Gary Matthews, Gary Maddox. And then you get to the 70s, Jack Clark. I mean, there was a time when the Giants produced, their farm system produced at an incredibly high level. And those days have come and they have gone. Yeah, and it's hard to get it going again. There's no question about it. And they're right now kind of finding their way. And, we're always told, we were always told that, Sabian and Evans were going to, the next draft, eventually they got it going and got a nice little momentum deal and rode that to a World Series with some real nice picks. But there was an awful lot of failure mixed in there. And now Farhan and his new lieutenants are taking their hand at it. And we're seeing it ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. You don't snap your fingers and create guys.
Here's the thing I would say about this whole thing with Rodon, and I'll get off of it, is if he made that kind of an apology, just drop it. Why would you even make it an issue? I mean, it's like how about this one? Did you see this? Carlo P says, wow, Tyro seemed pretty angry during the interview after the game, saying, I don't want to talk about it.
Why are we being so sensitive? That is shocking.
Yeah, bro, it wasn't intended for you. I mean, it's not like Carlos Rodon doesn't like you. It has nothing to do with you. It was an accident.
Also, Kapler should stick up for his teammate there. For his player there. If guys are mad, that's you don't pile on.
Lou Marson says with only 14,000 season ticket holders, down from 21,000. Next year it'll be more like the Stick, 8 to 12,000 real fans. Yeah. It's headed that way. Hey, Lou, I'll tell you, it's headed that way right now. Monday through Friday, there's plenty of sit wherever you want. Buy the ticket in the upper deck and move down. On the weekend, it's like it's like the new park. They're packing them in on the weekend, but they're not packing them in Monday through Friday. That's for damn sure. MF donates $19.99. Says bringing Ned Colletti in an advisory role to fix this mess. Ned coming full circle and coming back to San Francisco would be electric. Well, I love Ned, and I know Ned's capable of doing it. It's just a matter, and Ned did replace Paul DePodesta in L.A. and had a nice little run there. I think they made the playoffs every year that he was there. But, I don't think the Giants are going in that direction. I really don't. I think they're going to stay with Farhan.
Would be nice to have him, like a guy like him, in an advisory role that Farhan respected. That would be nice, though. Also, yeah. I didn't mean to just be vain by putting this up by saying we need youth like Ryan. I actually was just doing the math in my head, and I was like, wait, it's not like I'm like this super young dude. Like, I graduated high school in 2014. I'm about to turn 27 in October. We don't have any players that are of note, of serious note, that are even under my age outside of Logan Webb. That's insane. That's
Sean Proctor donates $1.99, guys. He says last drafted All-Star was Buster Posey 14 years ago.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, when you go a decade without drafting an All-Star, that's going to hurt. You're going to feel the impact of that.
Wait a minute. They drafted Crawford. He was an All-Star.
They drafted Webb.
They drafted he's not an All-Star.
But Crawford was drafted before Posey, wasn't he?
No.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Wasn't he?
I don't think so.
No. Crawford was after Posey.
Are you sure about that?
Positive. Posey was 09.
I mean, actually, Posey might be younger than Craw, actually.
Well, let's check that.
Think about it.
Check that.
I thought maybe they're the same year. I think they're in the same draft.
Same year.
No, I don't think so. Talk amongst yourselves while I look this up.
Here's what I'm going to say. I said last thing about
Crawford was 1 year before. That's shocking.
Wow.
Yeah, Crawford was before.
Interesting. But Posey made it up
35.
first. Posey made it up first, though. Okay, yeah. Here's what I'm going to say.
How dare you challenge me?
How dare you get the last word?
How dare you challenge me in your Foot Locker uniform?
Here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to defend Carlos Rodon because everybody's on him, including Krueger.
Carlos Rodon went into that game trying to hurt Thairo Estrada. I'm convinced everything tonight was leading up to trying to hurt Thairo Estrada. I mean, what are we talking about, guys?
Listen to this quote. Listen to this.
Did you guys see the video?
Yeah, listen. Yeah, I did. Listen to this.
It was an accident.
Hey, listen to this. This is what they're saying. Rodon was angry earlier. He slammed his glove down. And then Kruko says, "You don't kick equipment," Giants color commentator Mike Kruko said on the broadcast. Thank goodness he's okay. I'm sure Carlos Rodon felt terrible about that, play-by-play announcer Dave Fleming added. Comes to his defense. Thanks, Dave. That's when an apology is unacceptable, Kruko explained, because it means nothing when you lose your temper to the point where you kick equipment and hit one of your teammates. It's just a great tip for kids. You don't throw your equipment. You don't want to look into the big league clubhouse or dugout and see that. There's no place for it. Okay, let me defend Rodon. Hold on, Larry.
We would all agree, right? That I mean, it's hard to disagree with what Mike said there.
Right, but here,
Mike's right, of course.
He is, of course, but it wouldn't have happened if Gabe had shown any emotion in the last 2 weeks and started backing up his players. Rodon's a competitor, and he's irritated, and he wants to win, and Kapler is all just mellow and not getting ticked, throwing tables over or doing something to show that he's got some fight in him. And Rodon's probably had it and says, I'm taking, it's building inside. That's what's going on. I guarantee
you. The fact that we're even talking about this is a gigantic backfire to hide the fact that Kapler's lost the room.
You guys
what I mean. Your players don't have to get upset. Do you see a bunch of Yankees going around ticked off when they're struggling? No, because Aaron Boone's doing it for them.
Are you guys down to listen to what he said? It's a 50-second clip.
Can we play it without?
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay, let's hear it.
Oh wait, that doesn't seem like it's coming.
That's Gabe.
Or,
That's
yeah,
we're listening to Gabe.
Sorry.
This is Gabe.
Oh well, did you hear that?
I heard it very faintly, very faintly.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'll tease that for a little bit ahead.
MF donates $4.99. He says, "I'd rather watch a team with young players on the rise and watch these old guys fall apart. Listella, Longoria, Belt, Crawford all need to go." I'm okay if you keep Crawford.
Yeah,
but
let him,
I like Belt, but I mean, Longoria, and Listella should be DFA'd. They really should find them new homes. Then they won't because Listella's got a deal for next year.
Yeah, Anonymous says this. Look at that. That's true. Mad Bum used to do this stuff all the time. They never got on Mad Bum. I don't know
if he technically kicked his equipment. And Kruko is right. It's a bad look for kids. And the kids do copy these guys. I see it all the time. Yeah. So he was a mistake. It was a mistake, but that's why he apologized. And it wasn't intentional. And if we're going to sit there and make a big to-do about some veteran pitcher kicking his equipment in anger and not talk about, this basically how this team has looked totally and utterly lifeless since the break. What's the bigger story? What's the bigger story? That Carlos Rodon kicked his equipment and that everybody can take a little drive by on Carlos Rodon because it's fucking easy? Or is it a bigger deal that a veteran team, the second oldest team in the big leagues, maybe has quit on their manager and has absolutely shown nothing since the All-Star break? Absolutely nothing. They're 0-6. They look dead as hell. And we're sitting here talking about Carlos goddamn Rodon kicking equipment. And this is the kind of crap that I really can't stand. And this is the kind of bullying crap that I really, it makes me just frustrated as hell. It's way more, it takes a little bit more courageousness to say, you know what, I think Kapler has lost this team than it does to say Carlos Rodon shouldn't have done something that everybody knows he shouldn't have done. So let's not take any more time saying about what Carlos Rodon shouldn't have done when it's fucking obvious he shouldn't have done that. I hate these fucking obvious takes. And when it's all this big, let's make a huge deal about what Rodon did because we don't want to touch that Kapler's lost the room. That's the real story. That's the story that people should be talking about, but nobody wants to talk about that because that might rock the boat. That may upset some people. But let's take something that's somebody obviously stepped in shit. Oh my God, let's absolutely hoist them on their own petard on that one. Oh my, little Carlos Rodon must learn a lesson and we must speak out about this terrible injustice. And you don't do that. You don't do that to equipment and the kids and blah, blah, blah. All a gigantic distraction to the fact that the veterans on the team have shut it down. That's what we're looking at. So you want to talk about adding, go for it. But let's not filibuster on an obvious mistake admitted by a veteran player in the midst of the entire team has quit on Gabe Kapler and they're dead as hell. Let's talk about that.
The nicest, most reasonable apology too. Also, just for I didn't see anybody online bitching about this, and this was Chris Sale the other day. I won't play the audio. Guy freaking went nutso and started ripping apart. It's like this stuff happens in games. Yes, some of it is obviously he shouldn't have kicked the bat or whatever. But
Chris Sale. Do you know how many kids out there could have seen that? And yeah, it's obvious. Guys get mad. I've seen it many, many times.
Of course, but what would you rather have? A guy who's competing in a losing streak and is trying to turn it around, and he's frustrated because he's given up a couple of home runs, and he wants to win so bad that he's mad at himself, and or would you rather have the guy just walk in and just say, we suck, I quit?
I'm just so sick of everybody taking their pound of flesh out of the obvious low-hanging fruit and ignoring the bigger story here, which is this veteran team has quit on this manager. They have no energy. They're dead as hell. They're backsliding every way imaginable. Why don't we talk about that? MF donates $4.99 random, but is Krueg traveling? I don't know, and I don't care.
Wait, do you want me to
Hats is Larry going off. I'm going off because I hate people who try to act tough and they call out something that everybody can call out. A 7-year-old could call out Rodon made a mistake there. God damn. That
real
pisses me off.
Analysis, guys. I could not have gotten this anywhere else. Here's Kapler on the Rodon incident.
He feels terrible about it. Obviously, you saw that right away. He felt remorse about it. He knows it's unacceptable. We talked about it after the game, and it just can't happen. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Tyro or anybody else.
Why would it matter?
His teammates, and if he's not able to maintain control in those situations, somebody can get hurt. He knows it. We're working on it.
He knows it. Why bring it up?
For him to be in control in those situations doesn't mean he doesn't. He's not going to show emotion. That's totally fine. That's part of the game. And being angry about an outing or a specific event in an outing, totally fine. But when teammates and coaches are at risk, it just through it. And as I mentioned, he understands that it can't happen.
When teammates and coaches are at risk.
Run! Here comes Rodon!
Oh, my God. Sean Proctor says it best. Kapler is fake and phony with his canned answers and his stupid cliches. And I threw stupid in there. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
If it didn't hit Estrada, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Somebody.
Danny, I'm all about safety. I'm all about safety first.
Did we miss an MF?
He says this will be my last donation. Larry just avoided my last question. Joking, yeah.
The Krueg one.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Somebody could have got hurt. Somebody could have got hurt. You know what kind of reminds me? It kind of reminds me. Remember the cop from Hill Street Blues? And they'd have the morning meeting, and then he'd be like, hey, let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there.
Yeah.
And everybody, all right. Then take off. It's like Kapler with his seriousness. Somebody could have got
just as much sports knowledge.
It's not about Tyro. I talked to Carlos. We can't have that. Somebody could have got hurt. Somebody could have got seriously hurt. Players, coaches, personnel. Somebody could have got hurt. I'm getting hurt watching your boring ass team. Unbelievable. Somebody could have got hurt.
I love that GD5.
I mean, he kicked the bat. The bat was like up there on the bench leaning, and he just kicked the barrel. And it, I mean, come on. No one was around when he kicked it. Just he happened to it clanked off the floor and went up and hit Tyro in the shin, the knee. Where did it hit him?
Right, hit him in the shin. Hit him in the shin. Could have killed him. Could have killed him.
Yeah, he could have said it's going to be a little warmer inland, and we would have gotten just as much from that.
The consensus: Mercedes, BMW, Porsche. Gabe is so phony. He is so phony.
Yeah, I got to run him again one more time. One more time.
He is so phony. I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
That's good form.
I talked to him about it after the game. Just the fact that you said that makes me think, what the hell's going on?
Shite.
Someone says, what would Boch have done? He would have said, get a beer. Get yourself a beer.
Rodon is just
Rodon runs a little hot. And he got one on Tyro today, and nearly killed me. But I think Tyro, I don't, you don't hate to see that, but sometimes you'd like to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Boch would have said like, it's.
I'm just gonna have Gabe over the yard this weekend. We're gonna fire up the Traeger. Get a beer.
I think Boch would have just said, it's unfortunate, but it's been handled and everything's good.
Kapler, go trim your beard. MF $4.99. This will be my last donation. Larry just avoided my last question. All right, I read that one before. So I didn't want now. I've got
beers. I gave myself a haircut today. You guys want to see it?
Yeah, let's see it. Get the trim up the sides.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Wow,
dynamic.
Huh?
That's quite a bit different. That is quite a bit different.
Yeah.
How long did that take you?
5 minutes.
Let's see on the sides. Let's see on the sides. Oh yeah, look at that.
Pretty good.
Dang. Did you break up
that's look at that. Look at that.
Even? Is it even?
Well, did you buy one of those instruments where you can do it yourself? Like,
I have one of those. I used to have a goatee and I trimmed it. It's just one of those
Fu Manchu
trimmers.
mutton chops.
I don't know what it's called. It's
I actually recently learned that it's actually not mustard, or it's not. Wait, what is it? It's not
mutton chops.
Let me check it out. Hold
the
on.
mutton chops from the 70s, the guys used to have. Used to be hot. Used to be
There was
popping.
some sort of Civil War etymology, or however you say that.
This is a great one. MF donates $4.99. Why don't all of you shut up? That was Gary when Kate and I were arguing with each other. Shut up! All of you, shut up! Everybody, just shut up! G-Rad. Oh, Miss G-Rad. Miss G-Rad.
What is this brand? I can't even remember. It's a pretty good brand, but it's just kind of.
Oh, look at that. Oh, look at maybe you can do it in the middle of the show.
Yeah, it's right there. Huh?
What
you know
mix
what
and
it is?
cuts?
I was thinking.
Wait a second. I think I just bought that. Is that a Conair?
No, it's a good brand. So you just kind of just do like that a little bit.
Aaron Rodgers over here.
That's how easy it is.
Look at you, man. Look at that.
Can you hear that buzzer, huh?
And
You
just
ever get any?
this out.
Huh?
How often do you do that?
Every couple weeks. I used to do it like every week when I was
When
keeping
you
it
do
shorter
that,
all the time.
Do you notice your wife say, "Get over here, you animal"?
Oh yeah.
Look at you.
Lather up. Hey, you saw
Get
that?
over here. Get over here. Or does she say to you, "Hey, I was looking at your head. I was thinking, let's go play some pool. Let's go shoot some pool."
You know, I was
Anything like
thinking watermelons in season.
Danny, what year did it start to creep on you? When were you like, you know what?
20s. I was like Matt Williams.
Matt, really?
Yeah.
So was it emotional?
Kind of.
Did you fight it? Did you fight the good fight? Did you go with the comb over?
No, never.
You feel the same way like
had the short top. I used to comb it straight back, like Vinny, my cousin Vinny.
You know how Larry David, like, he just lets it go, and like he feels like he's like so disgusted if there's any bald man that has like a toupee or like got hair implants. He's like,
man, I used to have a lot of hair when I was in my, late teens and early 20s, and then it just bang.
When I was
Message to you, Rye. Enjoy what you got. Kyle McKiernan says, Kate, Larry, and Gary. Yeah, that was rad. MF 499. Larry calling out Gary for staring at Jan Wall's breasts on Kron was legendary.
Hey, have you guys seen Buster?
What's that?
You guys want to see Buster in football season? Check that out.
What are we looking at there?
What is it? Is it? Oh, Niner jersey.
He's laying on the rug with the Niner jersey on. Yeah,
There you go. Love Buster. Are you kidding me? I really admire Buster. And when, the interviews that I had a chance to talk to Buster, like during Fan Fest and stuff. Oh, that's your Buster. I'm thinking of Buster Posey. But I love your Buster.
Trapped in his
But
basement.
I do love Buster Posey as well. Kyle McKiernan says, this isn't spam. Let me find the link where Larry destroys Gary.
I think he's saying that he's going to send in the link.
Spam.
Oh, my God.
Hey, speaking of spam, what do you think's better, spam or completes?
Spam? Sometimes at like a Hawaiian restaurant, like spam.
So get this. We went to Hawaii a couple years ago, and spam is like
huge.
It's popping in Hawaii. I mean, it's like it basically, and I had it as like a side and some brunch thing, and I didn't want it. It sounds terrible, but if you fry it up, and it's I don't know, it wasn't horrendous to me. It was like kind of low grade salty ham.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what is the most overrated thing ever.
Let's hear it.
Is people who say, man, you're going to Hawaii? Oh, there's two things you got to do. And like if you're on Maui, you got to do the road to Hana. Now, the road to Hana sucks. It's eternal and terrible. And the other thing they say is You got to do a luau and have some poi. Poi is ass. It makes that chicken completes ass stuff look like just like 5-star dining. It's gray, milky slop that is all pig fat and terrible for you and tastes terrible.
It's also like buffet style food and like
I've never seen it. It looks like what's that material that you put on when you're trying to on the outside of a building? It's like stucco. It looks like stucco. Seriously, poi looks like stucco and probably tastes the same. Poi sucks. I hate poi. I mean, you couldn't get me to have poi.
Do you like the roasted pig though when you go over to Hawaii?
Yeah, on the spit. I don't
like looking at the face of the pig when it's too.
It doesn't bother me. Though I will say this, I was at Michael Mina's, which is an incredible spot at Levi's, and they had in their Michael Mina's game day thing, it was like all you could eat, and they had pulled pork tacos, and they had the pig right there, and the head and all with the apple in the mouth, and it's just like I don't know. Maybe I'm just like I need to be given my illusions, but it's like I know it comes from a pig. Do I need to see the head? You know what I mean? It's like when you go to a steakhouse, they don't put the cow's head on a thing and say, "Hey, look, you're eating a cow. You're eating what kind of cow would you like?" It's like they just said what they talk about steak. There's something about the animal right there with the head. I don't know. How
about this though?
It's like Chick-fil-A where they don't have beef, and so they've got the cow.
Yeah, eat more chicken, right? Yeah.
Or
what's the what do you like the fish in the stores when you go in and you see the whole head and everything, or do you?
No, hell no. I'll tell you, that's another one. I can't go to like any kind of restaurant where there's a fish tank. Like if there's a fish tank in the restaurant, no, I'm out of there. I can't eat it. I can't eat in places where there's a fish tank.
Could you eat rattlesnake?
I would eat rattlesnake.
Not me.
What's the wildest thing you've ever eaten? So I've never had rattlesnake, but I did have. I told you guys when I went to the Different Point of View restaurant in the Hilton Resort in Phoenix, that I had wild boar chops, and they were a little gamey, but really good. I mean, like smoked and just incredible. A little gamey. When Damon Bruce and I went to the Super Bowl, Damon and me went out to dinner at a restaurant in New Orleans called Cochon, and it's like a 5-star restaurant. It's really pimp. And we ordered alligator. Have you guys ever had alligator?
I have had it one time.
It's good.
Never had alligator.
It's like a really rich, a little bit chewy, but a really rich like chicken nugget. It was breaded.
Oh man,
alligator.
I've seen alligators up close in the swamps. I don't want to.
You can't go there.
I don't mind.
What's the most exotic food that you guys would eat?
Well,
I tried quail. That's for
quail.
me.
Yeah, it's a tiny little bird. It's a tiny bird.
But I actually shot it myself and then cooked it. It was kind of
Wow, Hunter Dan.
You shot it yourself?
No, I shot the quail with a BB gun.
What did you think I was talking about? Did you think you shot your partner? Yeah, and I know you shot the quail.
Oh, I thought you said shot myself.
No,
shot it.
You shot yourself? No, but you shot the quail.
Yeah, it was
kind
of tough.
Did you get all the metal out of it? Because sometimes the pellets get stuck in there when you're.
Yeah, it cleaned it up, but it was just kind of tough.
Yeah, I'm not a quail fan, but that's as wild as it gets, huh? Quail.
Yeah, for me, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just give me my steak, give me my chicken, give me my pork.
You're not an exotic guy.
No, I'm not.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
Yeah, I can respect that.
This is a man who tries his completes, and he doesn't want to take too many chances.
That's right. Yeah.
So
how about you, Ryan?
There's kind of two answers, because there's the answer that's like in the spirit of this question, and then there's like hazing in a fraternity, like just eating like I've had like a live
you
squid.
slammed a beer that had a shot of 151 in it or something.
No, like we had like a food thing one time, and it was like I remember I had like a live squid, and like I had a
calamari, right? Calamari.
It was alive, and like that was weird, and just a lot of mayo and mixed in with a lot of effed up like fish from the Chinese fish market.
Val Ramos says iguana is good. You'll have to, no thanks.
I think I had shark.
Brandon Graham says antelope is tremendous. Have you guys had antelope?
I can see that.
Gator gumbo. Tony D says gator gumbo. I love a good gumbo. Here we go.
I like
Proctor.
the buffalo.
Alligator is really good. Tastes like beef jerky. La Fondue in Saratoga. Check it out.
Ugh.
Monkey brains? What?
Yeah,
no.
Monkey brains.
How about sweetbreads? Have you had sweetbreads?
Oh, Ed Hormel, he said, from your friend, a new flavor from your friend. Oh, monkey brains from new
How
flavor.
about caviar? Do you guys like caviar?
No.
It's kind of salty. I don't see the greatness in caviar.
I had it one time at the Adam Carolla show. This woman who had a caviar thing and was a fan. She sent us like $500 caviar, and like I put it on like a cracker and did it right, and it was pretty good. But I don't think I would normally do it if it's not like really high.
Somebody says bear isn't bad. What? Bear? I don't know about that. Have you ever put venison? Have you ever put venison in your chili? A lot of people like chili with deer meat, venison.
I had like venison like bars, like venison like beef jerky bars.
If you bet that, you would.
Jason Neal says buffalo and bison are quite tasty.
I like bison meat.
Bison and
bison.
Have you been to? If you go to
let's get Danny to talk more about this. There we go. We'll put Danny in the main square there. Tell us about bison, Dan.
Oh, it's really good burger. It's a nice. It's really got.
Did you shoot it yourself?
No. Where did I have the bison burger? What's the name?
Little tune up for Anonymous. Anonymous's completes at Costco.
Wait, was it Rome Burger, Dan?
No, it was a bison burger at one of the bigger chain restaurants. I can't remember.
Lou Marston says Chevy Chase at the record eating lamb balls, testicles, aka Funny Farm. No thanks. No thanks.
Oh,
Scotty says Danny is a big game hunter.
Yeah,
quail,
big game.
Quail, Mike Trout.
Yeah. What is it?
Shohei.
What is this?
You notice that Danny's a lot quieter when we get away from the Trout, Shohei, Soto trade rumors. Suddenly we get into quail and he busts out his completes and he's very quiet.
Yeah. Hey, you guys want to see something really cool? I'm going through my phone. This is back in February 2019. The year, sadly, my mom passed away in July of 19 with cancer. But I was at spring training, and Buster Posey, she's been on the field at the Oakland Coliseum. One of my brothers set it up, and he knows some people with the A's, and so Buster came over as a surprise visit in 2017 and got pictures with her on the field. She got some with Crawford and Pence and Boch. It was pretty cool. So when we had her funeral, we had these pictures decked out in the room of her and Bochy and her and Posey and stuff. But I went down to spring training, and this is Buster talking to my mom. I just want to give a shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out
to
Buster.
See video here?
Yeah, this is a video of Buster. This is a video of Buster. This is a class act. This is the class guy that we all loved.
Let's see it. Wait, hold on a second, Dan. Let me put you in the main square here.
Hold on here. Let me start it over again. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Hey, Joan, here with your son in Scottsdale at spring training. Just want you to know we're praying for you and hoping for the best.
Great guy. We need that Buster.
That meant a lot to my mom. It really did.
Awesome.
That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, my mom was the greatest. She was a tremendous Giants fan, and
what'd she say when you showed her that?
When a mom's a Giant,
she was really just shocked. She just loved Buster. Her Facebook doc page had all these pictures of Posey, and it says pocket full of Posies.
Posey was a class act, man.
Yeah,
in some
really.
ways, he is in that category with Joe and Jeter as far as athletes that made all the right moves. You say, they never did the stupid thing. They never did they always were like the smarter player, they did the right thing. They said the right thing. They led their career almost like perfect type careers, Joe Montana, Derek Jeter, and then
Also,
I think a Buster in a lot of ways.
I still slightly hold the not letting A-Rod play short against him out for some reason, and I don't know why. It was that
that was Jeter's position, man. He was the captain. A-Rod was just some fraud who took a bunch of drugs.
Yeah. Here's the thing I was thinking about yesterday with Buster and the Giants. He left obviously at the perfect time, but do you think he left? I mean, he was running out of gas, injuries and everything, but I started thinking about this, and I says, I think he was the glue that held the team together and kept Gabe away from guys, because it was like –
because he ran the game.
Right. He ran the game, and so Gabe even said, we run everything by Buster.
You could see it, Danny, when him or Bailey would go to the mound, Buster would do most of the talking.
Right. And now that Buster is gone, everybody's left to deal with this whatever, there's no confidence. There's no confidence in Buster.
Is that this bodes very well for Posey Hall of Fame case. Going from 107 to whatever.
Well, I mean, no question. Buster, I mean, we said it. Okay, I mean, think about it. We said it. I said it myself. You guys said it. Everybody around this team said it. Buster is better than his stats. Buster's far better than his stats. Stats do not encapsulate the greatness of Buster. So that's another reason why you got to kind of scratch your head and you're thinking about Farhan putting this team together in 2022. You knew you didn't have Posey, and you knew that he was significantly better than his stats, and yet he was coming off of a terrific year, and that wasn't motivation enough to replace him. You just you let him go and you didn't attempt to replace him in a city like San Francisco with a packed house and a franchise with this level of standards, this level of revenue. I mean, that's the malpractice. I mean, that's when you look at that poll that I put up there yesterday and people were blaming Farhan, that's why they're blaming Farhan, because everybody who knows Giants baseball knew that Buster's loss was going to be huge.
Larry, you said in the pregame before the season, you and I did a show and we talked about the Giants and what the season held and where we thought they were going to be. And I remember you were saying, I think they're going to struggle with the bats, especially from the right side, because they lost Posey, Bryant, and Solano, and they didn't make any of those up. They didn't replace any of those guys from the right side. All they did is bring in Jock. That was it, right? I mean, was there any other moves? I don't think in the position players. I don't recall any position players until they brought in Gonzalez and stuff. But off-season moves, they only signed Jock and Rodon, and then they signed the Wood and DeScalfani and Cobb, right? Yeah. Am I right? They didn't have any other position players, right?
Right.
There might have been, but those, of note.
I don't think any of them are. Yeah. So what did they expect that was going to happen? I mean, you saw it clearly. We all saw it. We said, yeah.
It was obvious. It was obvious. They took this year off largely.
What's actually really interesting?
They're riding the coattails of last year's team.
It's almost like ownership said, "Oh, thank you. That bought us 2 more years until the prospects come. We can just pocket the profits."
What do you guys think about? I lost the comment, but somebody said, they had all of this data all of a sudden, and Posey was the guy who knew how to implement it, and probably being able to bounce that stuff off him. clearly, like, we're seeing just such a big difference. And
He was the player manager last year. Let's just
He
face
ran
it.
the game. He ran the game. He knew when to go to the mound, how to talk to the pitchers. Not only that, guys, Buster had such an unbelievable respect from the umpires that he got every corner pitch he wanted in almost every big situation. And
I think you could argue he was the best defensive catcher. Like, he's one of the best hitters of all time, and I think he was one of the best defensive catchers in postseason history. I mean, if you go by just shutouts alone and all the winning, I mean, they won the World Series 3 out of his first 4 healthy years, including his first year.
I'll say this: go back and look at the great dynasties in baseball history. They all have an overwhelming catcher: Bill Dickey, Yogi Berra, Johnny Bench, Buster Posey, even Jorge Posada, who was a very underrated catcher on those Yankee teams in the late '90s and early 2000s. I mean, you go back and look at Molina. Go back and look at Yadi Molina. If you want to go back to the Cardinals of the '60s, they had Tim McCarver. There's a lot of. You go back and look at almost all the dominating teams.
It's a cheat code. If you have
a catcher, there's a good catcher there.
If you have an all-time catcher, it's a cheat. It's an absolute cheat code.
It's the number one thing. I mean, and then look at the way. And I talked to Boch about this after 2014. I said, Boch, you play your backup catcher a lot in the regular season, but when you got to the playoffs, you exclusively played Buster Posey behind the dish. Tell me your philosophy. And he's like, I played the position. I realized what it is. And he starts talking about the genius, and he used that word with Buster. He called him a genius. And he understood the genius of Buster Posey. And the genius of Buster, he was a very good offensive player, but his offense was secondary. The genius of Buster was in the game calling, the framing, the blocking of pitches in the dirt, understanding how to call a game, how to bring a pitcher along, how to get a pitcher who's not in rhythm into rhythm, how to call a game. And how many times did Buster, it's a simple thing like, hey, you know what? There's a lot of guys in the game today that are low ball hitters. And how many times you'd see Buster get to 2 strikes and he's like calling for the pitch way up, and he's like forcing the pitcher to challenge up in the zone. Yep. And you know why? Because it's hard to hit the ball up in the zone out of the ballpark.
Right. So
if they had a 2-run lead and nobody on, and it got to a 2-strike count with somebody with some serious power or pop in the 9th inning, after 2 strikes, man, he's calling for that pitch up. Why? Because you might pop it up, you might fly out, but you're not hitting that ball out of the ballpark. Nope. And he was that level of a competitor. So
this is what's hurting them is the other day when Bellinger was up bases loaded facing Sammy Long 0-2, they all knew that his weakness is the high fastball and he can't catch it and he can't hit it, and you certainly couldn't hit it out. What did they do? They go with a hanging curveball right down the middle. And, they could have won that game. That would have stopped the slide possibly. They would have, won 1 out of the 4. And then but no, now they've carried the slide on, and now it's 6. Speaking of catchers, we look at the catcher position, and the A's, their top 2 prospects in their organization are Tyler Soderstrom and Shea Langeliers, both of them in the top 60 of all of baseball. They're in the
Langeliers popped one out in the Futures game. Yeah. He's got real power.
And then you look at the Dodgers, they have Will Smith. Last year, their number 1 prospect was the catcher Kelbert Ruiz, was traded in the Max Scherzer, Trey Turner trade. And now their number 1 prospect is a guy, I can't remember his first name, but it's Cartera. He's the number 1 prospect. He's a catcher.
Diego Cartaya.
He's being talked about in the Soto deal. Look at how valuable having strong catching is in your system.
No doubt. Lou Marston points out, he says Dodgers had Steve Yeager, Mike Scioscia, Giants had Mark Hill and Tuna before Buster. Yeah, the Giants, the Giants said, that's why, it's funny too, John Barr, when he came here from the Dodgers, he came here with the intent of drafting Buster Posey in the top of that amateur draft. And the Giants kind of got fortunate. I think a guy named Kyle Skipworth was another catcher from LSU. I think he might have gone in front of Buster in that draft. But guys, we're coming up on midnight. Ryan and I are going to be jetting for camp early, so let's play the spots right here. We'll be back with more and a final thought on the Krueg Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, call and make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio coming down the home stretch. I wanted to hit this chat here. Kyle McKiernan says, I have a fun Buster story to get us all on the happy wave. And then he says, So it's 2015. I'm at spring training for like 4 days. I go into the store and I'm only wearing a Giants hat. I'm buying some beer, and the lady at the register is like, "You just missed Buster Posey." I was like, "Oh, okay, right on. No big deal." She's like, "He just bought $600 in booze for the club." She said the shopping cart was full top to bottom.
I'm serious, guys. I think that Buster Posey is going to be like one of those movies that it's going to be like 15 years later, and we're going to be like, wait, we didn't realize how unreal Buster. Like, we knew he was unreal, but it's like all of a sudden it's like, wait, honestly, this is blasphemous to say, but I mean, Mad Bum, since he hasn't had Posey, is not doing as well, and Buster. I mean, those staffs were all unreal. And I seriously think Buster had that much of an impact, but in like a way like Steph Curry, it's just, you can't really explain it all with stats.
Yeah, no question. Kyle McKiernan says, "Great show, Larry. Are you a regular on 95.7 now? Like temporarily? Just wondering." Well, you know what? I've just gone there on a temporary basis, or at least I'm not considering it a temporary basis, but I'm not a full-time guy yet. I'll be on Thursday morning, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week with Guru, and we'll just see where it goes. I know they haven't made any promises to me. I haven't made any promises to them. I love being there. It's a great team of guys, and it's a great station to be on, so I'm enjoying myself. And if it evolves into a bigger deal, great. Kalba Kamiga says, "This show is fantastic. It's wildly entertaining and therapeutic during a 6-game skid." Sean Proctor says, "Skipworth went 1 pick after Posey." So I had said that he had gone a pick before. I think he did. I think you're probably right. He did go after. Chardol says, "I really love the show. We appreciate that." Lou Marson says, "Thanks guys for chatting and signing up. Best $4.99 he's ever spent." Lou, you're the man. Appreciate you, brother. Say hi to the family for me. What else do we got here? Pasquale wouldn't kick a sausage and threaten the life of his workers.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Yeah. It's always good. The Sunday dinner, you can never, it never disappoints. We've got this one from Rod Dunham. He says, "Let's start it here first. Buster Posey for manager 2023, or when Cap gets fired, whichever comes first."
I thought about that, but he's not going to do anything for years with his
He's
young
too
kids.
secure in himself. It'd be like Steph Curry too. Like Steph Curry's never going to become a coach. He's going to be satisfied with whatever it is and walk away from the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. It's there now with players making as much money, and you look at what coaches and managers make, especially now these days, and you look at the commitment for time. I mean, how many people that have kids and family that they want to spend time with and $100 million in the bank are going to sign up to coach any of the major sports?
I love this line. This is classic. Hold on. There it is.
We grew up with a Sunday Giants loss.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage. It's like a church without God.
No matter where the hell you were, you didn't kick a bat that hit Tyro Estrada. Okay.
Hey, strangely enough, wouldn't that be something if that's what they always say? Clubhouse tension, different things can put a spark in a team. Maybe some dissension is what they need, because I looked at it again. I just saw the highlight, and Wilmer Flores is behind Tyro after he hits him. He goes up to Rodon, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Maybe is Rodon is he kind of like a Grant Williams? Like, that's the only explanation I could have, like why Tyro's so upset. Like, is he low-key kind of an annoying guy behind the scenes? Because he kind of seems like a stud, but like, behind the scenes, maybe he's just kind of that annoying.
He probably did cross the line. They probably have a rule: you don't kick your equipment. But he's a pitcher. He's not a baseball player. He's a pitcher.
At least he didn't punch the wall with his pitching hand. Like,
will Rodon be a Cap Sunday dinner? Will Rodon be a Cap Sunday?
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Who's the pitcher of the Giants? It was Hunter Strickland. Hunter Strickland popped his hand into the wall after a bad performance.
LeBron allegedly in the freaking NBA Finals.
Devin Williams for the Brewers cost himself a spot on the playoff roster.
He did it too. So hey, using your foot's not a bad thing.
Well, sometimes punching a wall is not necessarily a bad thing. You know that Charles Haley punched a wall after week 2 in the Cowboys locker room the year that Emmitt Smith held out, right where Jerry Jones had been standing, and scared the shit out of Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones signed Emmitt Smith literally 3 hours later. He was pissed that Jerry wasn't signing Emmitt. He punched a hole in the wall, and literally hours later, Emmitt was signed. Maybe that had something to do with Haley.
Maybe Charlie. Maybe Jones thought maybe the next thing Haley was going to do was try urinating on. Didn't he do that at the Niners or something? Go urinate in the parking lot?
He urinated on Seifert's car in the parking lot.
Yeah, that was it.
That's good, clean fun.
So you know what? I used to joke with Gary about this. I'm like, you know what? I don't care if he urinates on my car. Do you realize he was a hell of a pass rusher?
Exactly.
It's sometimes you just gotta take it. He urinated on the guy's car, but you know what? He was a hell of a pass rusher.
Pass rusher. It's kind of like my dog peeing on my car. Yes, it might. I would prefer it didn't happen, but you know what? I love the guy.
All right, 12:07, time for us to bolt for the door. We're getting up early. The alarm clock's going to ring early. We got camp tomorrow. Definitely be a member of the channel. We're going to bring you exclusive content from training camp, interviews, audio, video, you name it, top to bottom. We're going to be all over training camp for the next month. We're going to be bringing that to the live chats, interviews. And in fact, if you are a team member, we should tell people this. If you're a team member, we're going to take your requests for who you want interviewed. And if you're a team member and you request a certain player, you have the promise from Rye and I that we will go into that locker room and we will try to fish out that player. It may not take a day. It may take more like a week, but we'll take your requests for interviews for 49er players during camp if you're a team member.
Big game hunting.
Big game hunting. There's no question about it. Romo 2001 says, Krueg. Mark Graves says, are you going live tomorrow at camp? We are going to go live tomorrow at camp. We're going to do, we're going to go to camp. We're going to watch it. Then when the camp is over, Ryan and I are going to do a little recap, and possibly that recap could be live. But we are absolutely going to be all over camp. And Ryan, what time do you anticipate us going live tomorrow at camp?
Well, I will say this just as a caveat in case we run into some kerfuffle, I botched something with the equipment, even though I think I have it down, but I do have some new equipment. Just, little things that may lead to a later or earlier or weird thing. We will be on a schedule, just going live and doing post games, driving to the game live and talking with lav mics, and it's going to be freaking awesome. But tomorrow, seeing as it's the first day, no promises, but probably I'd say at least a post.
There you go. And maybe the final chat mention of the day, Brandon Graham. Larry, don't kick any equipment at camp tomorrow. No lives need to be put in danger on day one.
Okay. And
ridiculous.
And Rebel 44. I don't have enough oxygen. I don't have enough oxygen in me to blow my whistle for every pinch hitter.
Yeah, seriously, let's not do the impossible. All right, let's play the fist pumping Giants Krueg fan.
Okay,
and then we'll go for the door.
I'm putting it up, but also last thing as I'm fishing it out. Okay, I've got it. What would actually the Giants continue to suck and be so boring? One day, if they're just completely out of it, we should actually do a drinking game where we all have to take a shot or drink a beer every time they pinch hit, and it'll be hilarious because if we're hammered, then it's that just means he was pinch hitting like a madman all over the place, or you can kind of tell by our level how many pinch hit.
Kapler said, putting players at risk tonight. Larry, keep Grant and Kinlaw separated. I'll do my best.
All right, let's get fired up here. Let's go! Who wants to be up?
Gets it out to Whitney. Goes in for a monster shot! Oh, calling an offensive foul. No way.
Larry Krueger show. Larry Krueger. Yeah, we're going to be on YouTube right now tonight. All right. Okay. When I say Larry say Krueger! Larry!
Krueger!
Larry!
Krueger! Krueger!
All right, let's hear it one more time.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at.